Hello everyone, Black Sentinel here, playing some more Danganronpa 2. So, it is about time to go to the next class trial that we have to hold. This one, though, under the pretense of a double homicide. I honestly have no clue how this is going to go. I only kind of pretty much know one piece of information, or at least I feel like it's a pretty accurate assumption. Which is how Ibuki was murdered, given that her disease, quote unquote, was a obedience disease, I guess you could say. She had to follow the orders of she just believed whatever anyone said. Liar, truth, or anything, orders, commands, all that. She followed it. So she could have just easily been told, hey, put that around your neck and then jump. So that's where my theory is sitting at. But Hiyoko is a huge question mark for me. I only have so much info on it, and especially in terms of timeline. So who knows? But we are about to go find out. So let's go ahead over to Monokuma Rock and we can pull up. Let's see, the park is... No, we're going to the rock. It's this way. Let me guess. My pet's dead again. Oh. It's not. Okay. Oh, it must have hatched. I think that's what it was trying to tell me. Even though I've stopped caring for the pet, it just dies. I'm not checking on it every 5 minutes when there's actual story going on. Was this the way to Monokuma Rock? And hell if I know. It should be this way. So there's Island 5, which means Monokuma Rock is... Yeah, here it is. Okay. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. My mom had me tested. Wonderful reference. Here we are. Hi, everybody. God, there's just so little amount of people here now. There's 8 of us. That's half what we started with. And we're about to have 1 less. Assuming there isn't 2. No, because we already confirmed there's not 2 killers. Well, existing killers. They very specifically said existing killers. But one of them could still be the killer. Yeah. Just putting that out there. Not saying I believe it, but that wording is there. So, everyone who heard the announcement had gathered in front of Monokuma Rock. And soon enough, let me guess, he appeared.
Welcome!
Thought, is everybody here? Do you guys want to go to the class trial?
Wait!
Hey, jerk, hold it right there.
Monomi's such a dumb child.
What? Don't get in my way. You're just a dumb little sister who's short a few brain cells.
Hey!
My brain works just fine.
Hey, hey!
Monokuma, what did you do with Nekomaru? I see, so you've come to avenge him.
Yes?
Avenge? That sounds like he's died. Sounds like you say. Oops.
Anyway,
Since Nekomaru is unfortunately unavailable today, let's just say he's absent.
Bye-bye!
Now then, I gotta go first.
I won't let you!
Hold on, I won't let you escape.
Hey!
Hey, did you hear what he said?
Huh?
Don't worry about it, there's no way Nekomaru is dead. He's just trying to piss us off.
Damn it!
Of course he's not dead, there's no way, not in a million years.
Well...
More importantly, it's best if we worry about ourselves for now. If something happens here, every one of us except Nekomaru will die. Why are you so excited about that?
How about it?
Who knows? Maybe I'm just looking forward to seeing poetic justice prevail.
What do you
What are you saying, fiend? We'll find out soon enough.
See?
Then let's go.
I'm gonna do it!
Alright, let's hurry up and get this over with. Yeah, you're right. Sounds good to me. So would that really be the case if we lost this trial somehow? Well, I doubt for story reasons that we're gonna lose this trial. But if that really did happen, hypothetically, if we lost this child, would that mean he would be the only one to live? It's an interesting theory. Because he didn't participate in the trial, so why would he get punished for everyone else's misdoings if he didn't even sin? A misdoing. That's a questionable theory. We stepped onto the escalator and ascended toward the gaping maw of Monokuma Rock. And that's when I suddenly noticed it. I noticed our lined up silhouettes keep getting smaller and smaller. Can't turn back now. If I turn back, won't be able to press forward. When everyone was inside Monokuma Rock. Elevator, go. Whoa. The elevator began its deep descent as usual. And nobody said a word. As we stood there trying to figure out what to say to each other, the elevator descended deeper and deeper. And when it descended as far as it could go, it finally stopped. Elevator doors opened slowly, almost tantalizingly so. Light poured through from the other side, eroding the boundaries of the darkness. And I walked into that place. What's it look like now? Alright, a bit meek. My, it feels pretty toothless with all these empty seats. Well, 2 people got killed at the same time, and Nekomaru's not here either. So we have 9 students. I miscounted. We have 9 students. Well, technically 8, not including us, but 9 total. Is Nekomaru really not participating? If he's alive, you should invite him.
No.
Why bother?
That's...
What?
Well now.
Now then, let's begin. I mean, yeah, why bother? It's not a good idea to bring him in, because then he could be sacrificed, if anything. It's the beginning of the long-awaited class trial. Please enjoy it to your heart's content. Okay. So, the curtain to the 3rd class trial was about to open. Ibuki Miyoda, the ultimate musician. She was really loud, but she was the mood maker of our group. Sorry, I was a bit thirsty. When I was with her, all of my pain and suffering just seemed to melt away. Yoko Sayonji, the ultimate traditional dancer. Just from looking at her adorable face, you'd never know she was actually selfish and foul-mouthed. Trying to change herself, she was desperately trying to come to terms with Mahiru's death. The person who killed those 2 is among us. I definitely can't believe it. But whether I believe it or not is irrelevant. So few people. Unless I figure out the truth, I won't be able to escape from this hell. That's why I must find out, no matter the cost. For our sake. For our friend's sake. For Ibuki and Hyoko's sake. So, the curtain to the 3rd class trial was about to open. This life-threatening trial, billowing with hope and despair. It's begun. Yep. Let me save this. Okay, so skills, I've earned no more. I've still only got the one from Chiaki, which sucks. I was hoping to have Sonia's by now, because I screwed up her gift. Well. E-handbook, truth bullets. Anything in particular that I need to be reminded of? Not a lot. Not a lot. Don't really have a lot of evidence, I feel like. But that could be just me. Let's do this.
Now then, let's begin with a simple explanation of the class trial.
Okay.
During the class trial, you will present your arguments for who the killer is and vote for who done it. If you vote correctly, then only the blackened will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong person, I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and that person will earn the right to leave this island. Oh well, who
Of
cares
course.
about this boring explanation?
Thank you.
Let's get on with it already.
Sounds good to me.
I don't mind starting the trial, but I don't really have a grasp of how the case played out.
Let's start with me.
You know, because I was asleep the whole time.
Even if you do grasp it, you're just gonna confuse the heck out of us, aren't you?
But Nagito's not alone. I don't really get it either.
You're fine. Your head's empty anyway.
Empty head? Huh. What's wrong with that? Listen up. The emptier your head, the more dreams you can stuff inside it, you know?
Sure.
Anyway, we shouldn't proceed with the trial if those two can't participate in the arguments. Since he's the first witness, why don't we ask Hajime to explain the incident and the sequence
Thank
of
you.
events?
Someone. This is why I chose to befriend
Then,
Chiaki first.
Let's
'cause
start
she's
with
the
when
only
we
one who
split
seems
into
to
the
have
hospital team
brains.
and motel team because of the despair disease. The hospital team consisted of Nagito, Ibuki, and Akane, who were infected, and Mikan, Fuyuhiko, and me.
Yep.
The other 5 on the motel team were myself, Gundam, Kazuichi, Chiaki, and Hyoko.
Yep.
Spending the night at the hospital was prohibited, so Hajime and I had to sleep at our cottages.
Yep.
I woke up at my cottage on the day the incident happened.
Yep.
Mikan came by to wake me up and told me that Nagito had recovered from his symptoms.
Yep.
We immediately headed over to the hospital, and after we confirmed his recovery,
Mikan was going to go to sleep.
I made Mikan rest in the on-call room, since she hadn't slept all night, while I
Exactly.
waited in the hospital lobby.
That's when we got the recording, or
And then,
the
I
feed.
saw the incoming signal light on the surveillance camera blinking before our scheduled time. When I pressed the button to turn on the monitor, what appeared on screen was
Someone in a
a
hospital
video
gown.
of someone
and-
wearing a hospital gown and a
Yep.
hemp bag on their head, climbing a stepladder. Amazing! That's such a heart-pounding story! And then what did you do, Hajime? I tried to stop them, of course.
Yep.
I rushed out of the hospital and ran to where the video was being recorded, the music venue. But it was too late. By the time I arrived, the person wearing the hemp bag on their head was already hanging from the ceiling.
That's when you went to go talk to Gundam.
I thought I should tell the others
And
right
Motomi.
away, so I headed to the motel. Why the motel? Because it was close to the music venue, and unlike the hospital, there were more able-bodied people there.
True.
At least, that's what I thought. But the only person who came with me was Chiaki.
But I remember feeling a little relieved because not long after, we met up with Mikan and Fuyuhiko.
Yep.
We were also looking for Ibuki since she disappeared from our site.
After I rested for a bit, I started counting everyone at the hospital. And then I noticed Ibuki was gone, so I sprinted out of the hospital. Coincidentally, I ran into Fuyuhiko, so I pled with him in various ways to see if he could help me out.
Various ways?
Oh my god,
Don't
Kazuichi.
say it like that and
Quit it.
confuse people.
After I heard from those two that Ibuki disappeared, I had a feeling she was the person wearing the hemp bag.
Oh. You should have noticed the hair, but
So I immediately
Sure.
led them to the music venue.
yep.
But the door wouldn't open. Since we had no other option, the 4 of us broke down the door.
Exactly.
And when that happened, we didn't just find Ibuki's body. We also found Hiyoko's. And not just that. Her body was taped to a pillar.
That's when we heard the body discovery announcement. Not once, but twice in a row.
Yep.
And so we decided to lower the hanged body, didn't we?
When we removed the hemp bag, just as we feared, it was Ibuki.
Yep.
So that's how the case played out. Thank you. I understood it very easily.
Wow,
Well,
really?
it's clear what the problem
It
with
was
this
spelled out
case
to
is.
you?
When Hajime left the music venue, who...
Wait, how do I know anything Hajime just said is true?
Alright, Dillhole.
Sorry,
Huh?
I'm only being impartial right now. And the story I just heard is clearly suspicious. Hajime, if you're the only one who saw the hanging video, and the first one to discover Ibuki's body, then you could be lying as much as you want right now, right?
Lie? Why would I lie?
Not wrong, but
Obviously. So you could make us ignore what might be an inconvenient truth for you.
Do you doubt me?
If you're not lying, I would like you to prove it.
how?
Come on, try to prove it to me. Prove you're not the killer.
It's just as Kazuichi said. Nagito is the kind of guy who will just confuse us and make matters worse. Yep. Damn it. I shouldn't have explained it to Nagito. I'm in trouble now thanks to that. Yep. Make your argument. Tell room keys, surveillance monitor video, TV's in Okay.
Hajime's testimony is clearly suspicious.
If Hajime's testimony is a lie, then the fact that Ibuki hung herself...
That would also be a lie.
I don't think
fair.
I can deny that possibility. After all, Hajime's the only witness.
Why would Hajime lie?
Well, obviously,
Yeah.
because he's the killer.
Did Hajime kill both of them?
The fact that the bodies were imitating the movie means it probably is
Ah.
Hajime's fault.
Aha! Hang on, hang on.
Hajime's testimony is clearly suspicious.
He basically just threw us a bone right there.
Then the fact that Ibuki hung...
That would also...
I don't think I can...
Basically
after
just
all,
threw us a
why would
bone in there by
Well,
going,
obviously,
it's
because he's
based
the-
off
Did
the
Hajime kill
The
movie.
fact that the bodies were imitating the movie means it probably is
Gosh dang
Hajime's
it, the
fault.
freaking white noise is in the way. I can't do anything at
Hajime's
that very
testify-
second.
Hajime's... Then the fact that Ibuki...
That would also...
I don't think I can... After all,
Why would Hajime...
Well, obviously,
Did Hajime...
the fact that the bodies were imitating the movie means it probably is Hajime's
Come on!
fault.
That's so
Hajime's
annoying,
testify-
come on!
Then the fact that Ibuki...
That would also...
I don't think I can... After all,
Why would Hajime...
Okay,
obviously,
okay,
did
okay,
The
in
fact
there.
that the bodies were imitating the movie means it probably is Hajime's fault.
Ah, I'm gonna
Hajime's testimony...
If Hajime's...
gonna rip a fingernail off.
That would
No,
also-
I'm actually
I don't think
not. That
I
would.
can- after all,
why would
No,
Hajime-
I'm good.
Obviously,
Did Hajime...
the fact that the bodies were imitating...
Can't
No, that's
say
wrong.
that because if that's true, why was my movie ticket stamped for the date of today?
I'm not the killer. I mean, there's no way I'd be able to imitate that movie.
Assuming that's still true. If
Of
that
course
doesn't end
you're
up holding
not.
true, I'm
I
screwed.
already knew that.
Huh?
Before the incident, Hajime had never watched that movie. His invitation ticket is proof of that. Each person only received one ticket, and they're marked with a stamp that shows the date and time. Isn't
Yep.
that right, Monokuma?
Yep, yep.
Yes, no mistakes there.
Which means there's no way Hajime, who never saw the movie, could commit murders that imitated it. Or did anyone
Yeah.
tell him what happens in the movie? Of course no one did, right?
hold on a sec. You're the one who brought this up in the first place.
Yeah, but I think in its own
Nagito,
screwed up
what
way,
are you
he was
doing?
trying to assist us, but not assist
Well,
us.
since we're opening with your witness testimony, I thought we should solidify the foundation
Solidified, but
and also provide.
you're right. It would have been bad
What
if someone
warm-up?
said
This isn't a
question me
game, you
later.
know.
Actually,
Don't get mad. I just think warming up is really important. Especially since this isn't a game.
actually,
Time.
the fourth
Well-
wallet.
I knew it would turn out like this anyway.
Now then, since we know Hajime's
God, I'm so
testimony
fidgety
is
today.
reliable, let us move on to the arguments.
So this means Ibuki definitely climbed the stepladder all by herself, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm positive.
Then that seals it. Ibuki committed suicide.
Nope, because then the
If
bells wouldn't
Ibuki
have gone
committed
off.
suicide, then who killed Hiyoko?
A murder coincidentally occurring in the same place as a suicide. Ain't possible, huh?
Like I said
Yeah.
before, it's pretty clear what the problem with this case is. The killer murdered Hiyoko while Hajime was gone.
How?
So all we gotta do is establish who could have possibly done that.
Then let's ask Hajime. How long would you say you were away from the music venue?
I couldn't have been gone for more than 10 minutes.
Yep.
So they killed Hiyoko and taped her up within 10 minutes? There's no way that's possible.
That's why the killer stalled for time by making the music venue a closed room.
What do you mean, a closed room?
Remember, we had to bash
The
it
killer
down as
blocked
part
the
of the
venue door
story.
from the inside to try and keep us from entering right away.
However, that door is the only entrance to the music venue, right?
Yeah.
If they blocked the door from the inside, the killer would not have been able to leave either.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Which means, when we broke down the venue door, the killer was still inside.
They were?
If that's the case, the only suspicious people are those who don't have an alibi for that time. And that's you two! Sonia and Kazuichi!
Me too?
What the hell? Why's it gotta be us?
Because you guys
The
weren't
others
anywhere
all
in
have
appearance.
alibis. Chiaki, Mikan, Hajime, and I all broke down the venue door together.
And before that,
Gundam met up with Hajime at the motel right before that. And if Akane and Nagito were laid up in the hospital, the only person that leaves is one of you.
There's another person who doesn't have an alibi. You know, Nekomaru.
but he's out of convention.
Too?
Hey, why are you talking like... Huh? You're kidding, right? You're not up to something weird, are you? Please stop making bad jokes.
Anyway, if the
Trying
killer
to
was hiding
imitate
inside
him.
the venue, we should obviously doubt the people who don't have alibis.
What a wicked way of backing us into a wall. Is this his professional skill?
Yeah, the killer was inside the music venue. Fuyuhiko obviously thinks so, but is that really it? It's a good question. Oh, room key, semi-transparent glob, surveillance monitor video.
The killer was still inside the music venue. By locking the door from the inside, they tried to keep us from getting in.
It seems they were trying to stall for time.
How did they lock the door? That door should not have had a lock.
The lock was on the floor in front of the door.
Are you talking about the broken drumstick?
You can use that as a bolt to lock the door.
Yeah.
By doing that, the killer who was hiding inside waited till we gathered together and suddenly appeared.
So they looked like they had just rushed over. I have seen this in serial crime dramas.
Thanks, Sonia. That person's remark contradicts the truth. I should be able to prove that with my evidence.
By locking the door from the inside.
No, that's wrong.
Yeah, I figured that was it. I didn't know for sure, though.
Hold on a sec. there's also a possibility that the door was locked from the outside.
I don't know how they would have gotten the drumstick on there as a
From the
bolt if that was
outside?
the case.
How?
Unless it
There's
was used in a
semi-transparent
different
glob stuck to the venue door.
thing that it
That's
was
what they
used
used.
for.
Semi-transparent glob. Like rubber, maybe?
Wasn't rubber at all. That semi-transparent glob was glue?
I see.
I'd say glue, like wood glue or something.
Semi-transparent glob. Must have been glue.
Glue?
Yeah, I think so too. It had a firm, gel-like chewiness, and I could smell workshop chemicals the moment I put it in my mouth.
Yeah.
Based on all that, I'm certain it was glue.
I didn't know glue was edible.
It's
I
not.
believe it is not something one typically eats.
That glue was only applied to the areas where both doors touched. By pouring it in the gaps of the closed door, they must have sealed the venue door from the outside.
How would they have gotten the stick
And thanks to that,
up
a
there?
glob of
Assuming
glue
that
was
the
left where
stick
the door
was
was
there.
stuck. Yep, it fits perfectly.
But if you just stick them together with glue, you'd be able to break down the door easily, you know?
That doesn't really matter. The killer only did that to make us think the door was locked from the inside.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
First of all, didn't that drumstick we found seem really obvious? Almost unnaturally so? It was
That's
so
exactly.
obvious that it makes more sense to think the killer placed it as a diversion.
Are you saying the drumstick was a trap the killer set on purpose?
Yeah.
Then I totally fell for that fucking trap.
Means now it really
Apologize to
could
Miss
be
Sonia
anyone.
and me. However, you're not allowed to slice open your stomach this time.
In a quarrel,
Fair.
both sides are to blame. That's why it's better to just have no sides at all.
Monomi, shut up.
So, during the 10 minutes Hajime left the venue, the killer murdered Hiyoko and created a closed space?
Monomi is
And
just
they also
not
taped
useful.
her up after killing her, right?
Even quick work has limits.
Oh, what unimaginable speed for a slowpoke like me.
If they couldn't have done it while Hajime was away from the venue, they must have done it earlier than that.
I didn't think of this.
But when Hajime got to the venue,
I didn't think about this. Is it possible that they used the wallpaper to cover up Hiyoko while we were in there and then it was removed, maybe? Yeah, they could have removed it. That's much faster then. That is a lot faster. If they, if Ibuki did her thing and then maybe after or about the time that was happening, Yoko was being put up on the pillar. She was being wrapped on the pillar, and they used the wallpaper to cover her up. They didn't really have to use that much. They could just not a big human being either. So that's maybe why we found that little scrap all the way up there. Maybe.
And when you went back with everyone else, Hiyoko's body was there too, right? But it's possible that the body was just revealed at that time, when Hiyoko was actually killed earlier.
Just revealed?
But
Of course, the body wasn't revealed on its own. The killer did that too.
the only problem I have with the theory that it was killed earlier is that we did not see bloodstains in the recording on the thing. Maybe that's just the game developers not putting that clue in, but I feel like that's a little... That'd suck if they missed that. Just a little bit. But the other thing is a blood splatter on... That's a lie. I didn't think about that. I was going to say the blood splatter that's on the bottom of her feet would come from the smear from on the floor. Aha. Okay, makes more sense.
Here, I have proof.
That scrap of paper. Is that what we found in the baton lighting at the music venue?
That's right, but just what is this scrap anyway?
Wallpaper. That scrap was stuck on the baton lighting in the music venue. Yeah. Now I should be able to figure out what it is. Oh, we're gonna do a logic dive. Ah, son of a. Oh no, good. Hangman's Gambit. Wallpaper. Nice. Ooh.
I got it!
You gotta be real quick with those. You gotta really just pay attention to, like, everything.
That scrap. Isn't it part of the wallpaper in the storage room?
Yep.
In the music venue storage room, there should have been black wallpaper that's the same color as that scrap.
Yep, and there's that corner missing.
There was also a tear along the edge of the wallpaper, wasn't there? If so,
Well, that's a bigger
Right.
tear than I'm seeing
You
there.
overlay the scrap that was caught on the lighting with the tear in the wallpaper. See? It fits perfectly.
Yep.
I see. So the scrap that was caught on the baton lighting was originally part of the wallpaper.
And what's wrong with that? Does it have something to do with Hiyoko's body disappearing?
Yeah, because it was wrapped up behind
A
the
mere
wallpaper,
nobody
so
like me
I
isn't
wouldn't have found
important
it.
enough to answer that. But if you guys were exceptional enough to identify that scrap of paper, you can figure this out easily.
Ayuko's got all the answers, apparently. The scrap of paper stuck to the baton lighting was part of that wallpaper I found in the storage room. Yeah? Is it connected to the sudden appearance of Hiyoko's body? Yes. I trace it back from there, the answer should become clear. Alright, let's give this a try. Am I logic diving this time? Logic dive? Yeah. God dang it. Forgotten how to do this. Ah, okay, there. Whoa. Come on, give me questions. I actually have answers this time. Last time I was not processing anything. Why did Hiyoko's body suddenly appear at the crime scene? It was brought there, it was hidden. I'm not gonna flash read these questions. I need to actually take a minute to process them. Whoosh. Whoosh. Yeah. Alright, next question. What did the killer use to hide her body? The wallpaper? Curtain? I don't know why the curtain was there. That's the only part that I haven't really made too much sense of. It's weird, but what do I know? Yoink. Across the gap. Ooh, I love the symmetry. Oh, the symmetry feels good. Alright. Did the killer hide her body with the wallpaper? They covered the pillar, they formed a wall. No, they just covered the pillar itself while she was under it. I got it this time, nerds. Blue, blue, red. Hell yeah. Awesome.
it's all coming together. I got it. Hyoko's body was hidden before we found it.
Yep.
But it would have taken quite a long time to tape up a hidden body.
No, the body was already taped up and the killer hid it, along with the pillar using the wallpaper.
What? They hid the pillar?
Yeah, by wrapping the wallpaper around the pillar, the killer was able to create a slightly larger pillar.
Yep.
So when I first discovered Ibuki's body,
I never noticed
Hyoko's body was
that.
already there.
Oh, that's clever.
However, because it was concealed within a slightly larger pillar,
That's
I didn't
clever.
realize that
I
at the
never
time.
noticed that. Wow.
Well,
I should have
that's
taken
understandable.
I should have taken a
It makes
longer
sense
moment
that
to
you'd
look.
notice Ibuki's body right
I noticed
away.
the body and the camera and
So they used the baton
and
lighting on
everything
the ceiling
else
to
was
hang
the
the
same.
wallpaper?
I didn't notice the pillar itself. I just assumed the pillar was a fixture that wouldn't change.
The baton lighting forms a perfect circle
It's a different
around the pillar.
coloration too.
So using
Maybe
it
it's
to
because of the
hang
lighting of the
wallpaper
situation.
totally fits.
Then, the reason the wallpaper was covered in so many stickers was to make it look like that pillar.
that's how
Yep.
they hid Hyoko's body, and then peeled off the wallpaper as soon as I left the music video.
But the killer made a mistake. They accidentally ripped off a piece of the wallpaper. And because of that, a scrap was left on the baton lighting.
The killer must have been in a hurry. If their plan took too long, Hajime could have walked in on them.
But going to the trouble of hiding the body and the pillar is very bold and risky.
But the crime itself would be much easier to pull off since they don't have much to do while Hajime's gone.
Yeah.
They just have to peel off that wallpaper and stash it in the storage room. It's not that big of a deal.
Exactly.
Then, when was Hyoko actually killed?
That's the
Good
part we
point.
don't have.
And on that note,
It's the
it's
heat.
about time we shed some light on those imitation murders.
You mentioned imitation murder more than once. But what is that?
Monami,
Are
could
you kidding
sit
me?
down
You
and
haven't
shut
seen
it?
my masterpiece? The Wizard of Monami 2.5D?
Hey, don't put my likeness in your movies without my permission.
Ah, thanks for legality.
You're pretty noisy for someone who eats mothballs.
It says mothballs,
I
not
don't eat
mothballs.
mothballs. I just enjoy looking at them. I knew it. There are so many similarities. It must have been intentional.
Ibuki's death by hanging matches the Scarecrow's death from the movie.
Uh-huh.
Not just that, but Hyoko getting taped up after her death matches the lion's death.
Yep.
It's as if both crimes were replicas of scenes from the movie, although the mutilated Tin Man was omitted.
But you
But
can't
why
have
did the
three
killer
killers.
go to all this trouble in the first place?
Based on what we know, the reason the killer chose these imitations isn't that difficult to figure out.
The reason the killer imitated the two victims in the movie, let their accomplice escape because they like the movies to mix up the killing order to have a weapon?
I see.
Mix up the killing order, right?
The
So
reason the
Lion
killer
would've
imitated two of
gotten
the
killed
murders from the
first.
movie was so he'd mix up the killing order.
Then, Hyoko was actually killed before Ibuki?
A valid line of reasoning.
Yeah, it's valid. The condition of Ibuki's body suggests that as well.
Yeah.
What do you mean? If you're going to cry and beg like that, then I guess I'll hear about the condition of Ibuki's body.
Okay.
I'm not even crying.
Exactly.
I'll let you sob as much as you want later. Just hurry up and tell me before I change my mind.
You good, Gundam?
What a jerk!
Oh, I see. You want me to explain it to you, right? Because you don't understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
An even
kinda.
bigger jerk? Impossible!
Look, Ibuki died because she hanged herself, right?
Yeah, but why would
That
she have
means
blood
when
on
she
her
was
feet?
still alive, her feet were touching the floor.
What's wrong with that?
Found blood on her
But
feet.
it seems Ibuki was still standing when Hyoko was killed.
It takes too long to explain
That would
some of
mean
this.
Hyoko was killed before Ibuki.
How light. Your words are so light as the sylph's feather. Your opponent is out of your league. It is too absurd to try to perplex me so inadequately.
Man, he's being annoying again.
First and foremost, you claim Ibuki's feet were touching the floor when Hiyoko was killed. How can a low-class creature with no psychic abilities like you know something like that?
Because she was doing something that's only possible if her feet were on the floor.
It seems you suffer from a pathetic delusion.
You're one to talk.
I was gonna say. Anyway, if this continues, we're just gonna talk in circles. I think it's best if we clarify Ibuki's status when Hiyoko was killed. Yeah, Ibuki's feet. Blood on the soles, there it is.
When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet were on the floor.
I am telling you to present your evidence.
Did you see her walking?
No.
If her feet were on the floor, was there any sign she stepped on something?
Right there.
I agree with that.
Got him.
Just as Sonia said, Ibuki stepped on something. That something was blood. There were faint blood stains on the soles of her slippers.
Yep.
That is not Ibuki's blood, right? She suffered no external injuries.
Then it's Hiyoko's blood.
Hiyoko's only wound was a fatal slice on her neck. And she died almost instantly, right?
If Ibuki stepped on her blood...
It means Ibuki was still standing when Hiyoko was mortally wounded. Which means Ibuki was still alive at the exact moment Hiyoko was killed.
Don't underestimate the power of the evil eye!
Gundam, why are you getting all up in arms?
Is that it? A shepherd dressed in his Sunday's finest still reeks of lamb, Hajime Hinata.
Does that mean you have a rebuttal?
Does that mean you have a rebuttal? That's a good line. What? Are you sure you're sure? If I show you how serious I am, this world might be destroyed, you know. You're so frightened you can't even make a sound. It seems you've realized our difference in status. However, the time for conviction starts now. You better entertain me to the fullest.
Gundam, what's your deal, my guy? I like the music on this. It's sick. Scrap of paper. Step ladder, rope used for hanging. Smudge on the floor. I'm gonna assume that's what we're gonna be using.
You're saying the blood on Ibuki's feet belonged to Hiyoko?
Gotta get comfy in my chair.
Impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no blood on the floor. You can't step on blood that was never there. Just did you see a nice nightmare?
As long as Ibuki's body has no open wounds, there's no doubt that that blood is Hiyoko's.
Hiyoko was taped to the pillar, yes, but it's possible that the pillar still had blood on it. However, you cannot step on the pillar with your... It's been nearly 3 years since I've had to use 60% of my power.
Okay.
Damn it!
It's overcome. He's going to go back to the original
You're
topic.
saying the blood on Ibuki's
this is
feet
what I
belonged
wanted.
to Hiyoko. Impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no blood on the floor.
Smudge on the floor,
Allow me to
bruh.
cut through those words.
Shut your mouth.
That's not it. The reason there was no blood on the floor is because the killer wiped it away afterward.
Don't say such foolish things. You don't have proof of that at all.
Yes, I do. If you look closely, there's a streak on the floor where blood was wiped away.
Yep.
When the killer tried to hide Hyoko's body, They probably cleaned the blood at the same time, but... Ibuki must have already stepped in it, and the killer probably didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
The reason they wiped off the blood on the floor was so we'd mix up the order of the murders, right?
Yep.
Even if they're able to hide Hiyoko's body, it'd be bad if her blood was left out in the open.
Yeah.
Plus, Ibuki's body was left out in the open, and it wasn't bleeding from any open wounds at all.
Hyoko's body was probably wrapped in duct tape to stop her bleeding.
Actually, the bleeding will stop once the heart stops beating. So I don't think they had to go that far.
Would they have known that, though?
Aside from Mikon, none of us were aware of that fact. So the killer probably did not know it either.
Yeah.
Maybe the heater was running inside the music venue so it would screw with Mikon's autopsy?
That's right! I didn't know the time of death because of the heater!
If the
Yeah,
time of
too
death
much
wasn't
heat.
mentioned in the Monokuma file just to keep concrete evidence from us.
Yup. Since we have all this evidence, there's no one else who wants to object, right? Then it's decided. Hyoko was killed before Ibuki.
It appears that it is wiser to retreat for now. Fine then, but regardless of good or evil, there's no deceit in upholding one's convictions.
Can't you just shut up and back off?
Now
Yeah.
then, let us resume our debate.
Ah, wait a sec. There's something I want to run by Monokuma first.
Huh? Again? Didn't something like this happen last time, too?
Yeah,
Hey,
well.
if the victim actually committed suicide, what are we supposed to do?
Huh? Suicide?
The same as always. You have to vote for who the killer is.
Oh.
Think about it. A suicide means you've killed the most important existence of all, yourself.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that means there's no Blackened to punish, but I guess in a pinch, I can always punish Monami.
Why me?
Nagito? What do you mean? If the victim actually committed suicide?
Well, I mean, I understand Hyoko's death, but I'm wondering if Ibuki was really murdered. For example, it's possible Ibuki killed Hyoko and then committed suicide due to a guilty conscience, right?
That's a fair accusation.
That's totally impossible! Then she never would have killed her to begin with!
She was afflicted by the despair disease, remember? That means anything can happen.
Fair, but she had
But
like the
if Ibuki's
obedience
the
one.
killer, she wouldn't have been able to falsify the sequence of the murders, right? After Hajime saw the hanged body, the sudden appearance of Hyoko's body soon after means the killer had to be alive at that time.
Then she was alive!
Okay.
When Hajime first discovered Ibuki, she was just pretending to be dead. If she waited until Hajime left, that's when she could have made her move and mess with the crime scene.
She hanged herself. Remember? There's no fucking way she could have faked that.
And
Yeah.
if she was going to fake her death, I think she wouldn't have chosen hanging. Her body would have been defenseless in that state. If anyone touched her, that alone would have ruined her plan.
I see. So that means there's no doubt that someone killed those two. I'm glad. Now I'm free to search for the killer.
Nagito, I wish you would quit it.
There's still one more issue on my mind. If Ibuki didn't commit suicide, then just what was that video Hajime saw?
What about it?
According to that video you saw, Ibuki was by herself when she climbed the stepladder, right?
Again, despair disease.
And does
the
that mean
specific kind she
Someone
had.
forced her to do it?
Yes.
Forced? Perhaps they used hypnotism or something?
I don't know anything about that.
Don't say it all proud.
Putting that aside, it seems obvious that the killer did something.
I just clearly forgot what her despair disease was.
Maybe we should figure out who was able to do whatever that was.
So, an alibi. Then our plan is to destroy the weakest alibi.
Okay.
Since Hajime has seen the video, it is clear what time the crime took place.
But just to be sure, that surveillance camera doesn't have a record function, right?
It's a cheap-ass surveillance camera, you know? There's no way it'd have some kind of sweet recording feature.
Okay, that's all I needed to know.
Then, the video Hajime saw was actually live?
What time did Hajime see that video?
I
Just
saw it at the
before the
hospital,
morning
right before
announcement.
Monokuma's morning announcement.
Yep.
And I saw the body at the music venue a little after Monokuma's announcement.
So Ibuki hanged herself right before Monokuma's announcement. And since we established that Hiyoko was killed before Ibuki, that means the time that the murders occurred was before and during the announcement.
That make the most sense.
Then, we just have to find the person who doesn't have an alibi during that time?
Now then, I shall issue my decree. Let Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi commence.
Okay. You wonder who and why someone would have done that. Ikon's account, Surveillance, Fuyuhiko's account, Sonia's account.
We can exclude the sick.
Let me look at the accounts. Let's see. Hiyoko is distraught because of the kimono. That's okay. That's with that one. Fuyuhiko's was about searching for Ibuki, so his might be relevant. And Mikon is her account of our interaction, and then her finding Ibuki missing Fuyuhiko.
And what about the
Akane.
others?
Right before the morning announcement, I was totally sleeping in my motel room.
I think
Okay.
everyone at the motel was doing that.
So everyone who stayed at the motel doesn't have an alibi.
What about you guys?
I was where I was supposed to be, my own cottage.
That's not an alibi.
Aside from those afflicted by the disease, if nobody has an alibi, then Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi has failed.
Well, that's not true. The murder supposedly happened before and after the murder. Person who doesn't have an alibi for that time.
We can.
Who wouldn't have an alibi for that time?
And what about the others?
Right before the morning announcement,
Okay.
I was totally sleeping in my motel room.
You don't have an
Everyone at the
alibi.
motel was doing that.
So everyone who stayed at the motel doesn't have an alibi.
What about you guys?
I was
Which
where I
has
was supposed
something.
to be.
That's not an alibi.
Aside from those afflicted by the disease, if nobody has an alibi, then Operation
That's
Destroy
not
the
true.
Weakest
Ah,
Alibi
come
has
on. I was
failed.
trying to get that. Skip, 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 skip,
We can
skip.
exclude the sick. And what about the...
Right before I was totally
Deacon has an
sleeping.
alibi with me.
So everyone who stayed.
What about you guys?
I was where I was supposed.
That's not an
Aside from those afflicted, if nobody has an alibi,
That's not true.
No,
Me and
that's
Miko
wrong.
do. So you were together before the announcement completely.
Hold on. Not all of us are missing an alibi. In fact, Mikon and I both have alibis.
Each other.
you two have alibis?
Up until I saw that hanging video, Mikon and I were actually together for a while.
With Nagito.
We even woke up together that morning.
Don't say
Hey,
that.
What kind of situation is that?
I accidentally fell asleep on top of Hajime.
Too much info.
Yeah, it's not like
That's
that.
funny.
She just came to tell me Nagato's condition had improved.
That's
and we
funny.
went to the hospital together afterward. So we were together until right before the announcement.
Yeah.
I get it. You guys have alibis.
If that's the case, the killer must be someone else.
It's better if we think about it like that. The killer decided to falsify the murder sequence to hide the actual time of the crime anyway.
Yeah.
So it's inevitable that an alibi for both before and during the morning announcement would be very important.
Yeah. The point.
It feels like Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi has backed us into a corner instead.
But committing an imitation murder, is that really all it was?
That's what
Faking
I'm
the time
wondering.
the crime occurred by falsifying the murder sequence, hiding their alibi in the process.
I think they took
Was
inspiration.
that
I
the
don't feel like
only reason the killer
imitation
made
is what
both
it is.
bodies
It's
imitate the movie?
inspiration.
Are you saying there was another reason?
I feel really bad
I'm
for
curious about the
confusing
motive.
you guys so much, but that's how I feel. I think the killer had a completely different reason for falsifying the murder sequence.
You're not wrong. This time I'm siding with you. Killer had a different reason? Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. That's the case. Are we still in the killer's trap? Inside a trap set by one of us? If so, then whose? What kind of trap is it? Question.